It's early morning when we arrive at the camp, situated about 12 kilometers south of the Somali capital, Mogadishu. Nurto Osman is preparing to light a fire so that she can make breakfast for her 8 children. She shows me an official voluntary repatriation form given to her by the United Nations Refugee Agency, as well as 2 birth certificates, one for each of her youngest children, both born in the Dadaab Refugee Camp in Kenya. Nurto is among the 180 Somalis who've recently returned to Somalia ahead of Dadaab's closure later this year. She'd been living in Kenya for the past 7 years.
We fled famine in Dinsur in 2010. We fled to Kenya, where we were then welcomed by the Kenyan government. There we received education and many other benefits. Now Kenya wants that camp closed. We decided to return only to come back to Somalia.
Nurto says despite being promised a stipend of $2,000 to voluntarily return to Somalia, she's only received less than half that amount, and this tent.
UNHCR brought us to Mogadishu in a chartered flight. They gave us tents, clothes for the children, as well as $600. We are now living in this camp. Poor housing system, no proper sanitation, no education for our children.
She says the move has been traumatic for her children. They're confused by the turn of events.
In Kenya, I was enrolled in a good school in the camp. My plan was to finish my education, enroll in a university in Kenya, and come back and be a teacher in Somalia. Kenya's decision to close the camp forced us to return back here. I have dropped out of school and I have no hope for now.
Nurto and her children are likely to remain in this camp for the next few years. They can't go back to Dinsor. The town is under a commercial blockade imposed by the Al-Shabaab. For Nurto and her family, the past 7 years have been the worst times of their lives, from that of a famine survivor to a refugee and now to an internally displaced person. But for now, this is her new home. She's not a refugee anymore, but life didn't turn out the way she expected it to be. Nurto says she's given up hope of ever returning to the farm she once called home. Her wish now is for a stable Somali government to step in and provide some much-needed assistance. Abdulaziz, Billow, CCTV, Mogadishu, Somalia.